Hashtag Blexit. Hashtag walk away. Two phrases that, had you asked me 2 years ago, I would have said, what the fuck is you talking about, boy? Two phrases that I try to embody and are embedded within me and in terms of my ideologies and my belief system. Two phrases that, if the whole United States of America applied to themselves, as far as the black community and people as a whole, would make this country more woke, which is a phrase coined by idiot liberals. It would make us more knowledgeable. It would make us more aware, self-conscious, and above all, less victimhood mentality. So, kind of piggybacking off of that, my hashtag walkaway story. My hashtag walkaway story started kind of 2015, 2016. I went to a place called Northern Illinois University and a place called DeKalb, Illinois. You probably heard about DeKalb. In 2008, they had that mass shooting where the gunman killed 8 people, then killed himself. He was withdrawing off his benzodiazepines, his psych medication, his anxiolytics, and kind of going on a tangent. You never hear when shootings happen, or school shootings happen for that matter. You never hear about the prescriptions they were on. You only hear about how the individual was disturbed, how the individual was crazy, how he came from a broken home. Let's start by talking about the chemicals that he was putting into his body. Anyways, my hashtag walkaway story starts in 2015. And basically, I had signed up for a black studies class. You know, I'm half Ethiopian, half Italian. My mom's from Addis Ababa, Ethiopia. Spent her life in Sweden. I wanted to get more acclimated with my African side, more in touch with my black side, if you will. And, it seemed like it'd be an easy fucking class. Let's just cut to the chase. Well, I took that class, and our teacher was a man named Dr. Smith, who got his doctorate from that school. But the weird thing is, they didn't have a black studies program that he can get a doctorate in. So the school essentially tailored him and his degree to their own kind of thing. And he was able to get a doctorate out of a school that didn't even provide many black studies classes. Thought that was always crazy. But anyways, this guy wore a traditional African garb every day to class. And he was a nice guy. He's from Chicago. Chicago's about an hour and a half drive away. He's a nice dude. But I noticed that as time was going on in the class that we were talking more and more about victimology rather than the victor mentality, rather than what we as black people can do to overcome this bubble of oppression that everybody claims that we live in. I found myself asking the same question after every class. What are we going to do? What can we do? Because you can tell me that our people were enslaved. You can tell me that our people are underprivileged. Our people are on Section 8. Our people have high rate of gun violence. But these are not things that are going to make me sob, whine, and complain about our community. These are things that are going to just keep me asking the same question, why? So after that class, I became more frustrated. I became more fed up. And I started hearing more, and this is when Black Lives Matter was starting to be more and more televised. You had the whole Michael Brown incident, and there was this giant thing at my school. We had a Black Lives Matter rally, and there was this whole thing. It was in the school paper about how a pregnant girl got hit by a racist. Well, I heard the story from someone who was there, and there was a guy driving a pickup truck, and he was late to work, and he had to get to work, and Black Life Study was cutting off the only means of driving. They were cutting off the roadways. So the guy kind of veered his car forward, and he needed to get to work, and they were preventing him from getting to work, so he stepped on the gas a little bit. And to have that constitute as a racist guy in a pickup truck hits a pregnant woman, That's such a skewed, such a turned, such a manipulated story. These are all things that kind of tie into everything. Black Lives Matter. I started to slowly wake up from it when I had my own family members who have a white father who are touting this idea that I am black, therefore I am a victim. It's like, sister, you are not a victim. You had two middle-class parents who gave you everything you wanted in life. That does nothing for you as a person to have this invisible wall of victimhood, complex, and oppression. That doesn't do anything for you, right? That only holds you back. And shame on the black community, right? This ideology that the Liberal Party and the Conservative parties somehow switched. Well, if you look at all the major liberal cities, these are the cities with the highest rate of gun violence. Baltimore, Detroit, Chicago, LA, Cleveland, etc., etc. Is it any coincidence that the cities with the highest amount of gun violence are cities with the strictest gun laws? I am a huge advocate of black people, responsible black owners, sane people to conceal and carry, especially single black women, right? The minorities of the minorities. I am a huge proponent of them having conceal and carry. Because when you live in a community where 80% of people who kill you look like you and are the same color as you, and you're only 13% of the population, and you're a woman, I'm going to be a huge proponent, no matter if you're purple, pink, etc., etc. It's sad. It's really sad that my community loves to point the finger, loves to not take accountability for their own actions. How the modern day white man is supposed to feel bad for just existing. That's racism right there. This whole ideology that black people can't be racist because black people constitute 30% of the population, and racism insinuates socioeconomic control, and black people have never had that control, therefore black people can't be racist. Stop. That's not actually how it works. Racism implies effective hate and disregard of a certain set of people based on the premise of race, religion, or creed. That's what we do all the time. We're always the first person to say that, oh, white person this, white person that, or any other race. I have seen the most racism within my own race. And that's the thing. People are allowed to be racist. If you're a racist, you can kindly fuck off. But you can go be racist over there. And that's the beauty of America, is that we have freedom of speech, which is something that the left, white liberal left, is trying to take away from us, is the freedom of speech. Right? That is what fascism is, right? The same people who are touting these ideas of that's fascist, that fascist, showing up to events with fascism signs, going na boo boo, having megaphones in their hands. That is a form of fascism. That right there is shutting down free speech. So by definition, that is fascism. These are all things that piggyback onto the left party and things that kind of go full circle with Blexit, hashtag walk away. You know, it's people like Candace Owens, people who have the ability to free think, who don't indulge in groupthink or a victimhood mentality. It's people like Candace Owens who make this country better, right? And Kanye West, when he gave Candace Owens appraisal, how dare a black man think for himself? And what did the left do? They immediately threw him under the bus. Oh, he's coming off his painkillers. He's coming off his psychosis medications, right? Liberals want to be the first people to be open and honest and free thought and not judge people. But when Kanye tells you a year ago that he was going through opioid problems, and then the second that this happens, that this whole Kanye West, Candace Owens things happens, you guys want to directly correlate that to him being a druggie, just throwing a black man under, just throw that black man under the bus. The fact that Kanye and Candace Owens have the power to not only think like this, but have a platform and think like this, to be able to have the people that already follow them engage in free think and not victimhood complex, victimhood mentality, and groupthink, that's a power. That is a blessing. And we need more individuals to stand like that. We need more African Americans with a platform to speak out against the status quo, to speak out against what is. Because things are usually coattailing off the white liberal perspective. And if a black man dares to think differently than that, then what is he? Well, he's a sellout. He's an Uncle Tom. He's a coon, right? It's even to the point where white liberals will say that. I mean, they have that look on their face every time a black conservative comes onto CNN. They have the, really, nigga? Like, really, you gotta go against your own people look on their face. It's like, how dare a black man think for himself and not have this victimology, right? Because if you really look at it at the end of the day, what are some core urban inner city values, right? Conservatism, right? Religion. God, right? Their respect for Jesus. Family values, right? Persevering, going out and getting it for yourself, right?